Hello, my dear viewers. Welcome to a very, very rare tarot card reading from me, your favorite yogini. So, if you have not been on my channel, I do a lot of different things on here. I am not consistent, really. I share philosophy, I share my thoughts, I share personal revelations and reflections, and I share yoga practices. I also share yoga philosophy, and I don't only share yoga philosophy, I share what I call the revelation of yoga, that, yoga is really much bigger than most of us realize, and how limited the information is for the public in regard to the true nature of yoga. So for those who have ears to hear and eyes to see, I'm here to help those who want to truly grow wiser and deeper and more intelligent or more informed about many a thing. So this particular reading I decided to gear toward the collective in regard to mental health, particularly our global mental health crisis. So I did actually draw these cards yesterday and just left them in place so I could actually find a good time to do a good review for you guys on what is going on. So for this reading, of course, as all other readings you may be hearing on social media, on the internet in general, and many other readers, this reading is not for any one person in particular. This is a collective reading, and you are always welcome to take what resonates and discard the rest. So to begin the reading, I will cleanse the air with 3 tones from this Muladhara root chakra singing bowl. So the first card that we drew for this is the 8 of Wands. This is from the Lion Strider deck, by the way. It's a nice little mini travel deck that I bought when I was in Australia. And it is from Poland. It's actually a really lovely little cards deck. So yeah, this all uses a lot of animals and really beautiful women, and I'm gonna have to just kind of block some of them because they're not appropriate for YouTube's community standards. So anyway, the 8 of Wands is signifying to act quickly. This is signifying urgency. This is signifying how freaking important our public and global mental health is. The trouble that we are in is quite apparent. We have this pheasant and this deer here, and it's looking like, yeah, go quickly. Like the hunter is basically coming for these creatures, and they are desperately fighting for their life. This looks like a desperate struggle for survival, and that is where we are. This is it, you guys. All right, and on top of that, what crosses the issue? Surprise, surprise, the death card, right? So we clearly have a need to let go and to move on, to transform, and not to mention, this is a deadly crisis. We are in a mental health pandemic. I saw just a few days ago, I think actually, so on my Patreon, I just put out an article talking about how the order of the mind has been disturbed to the point where we are having this global mental health crisis. And this all just lines up with it, basically, that, we have to move out of where we've been for too long, that we've got some really bad problems. This is like not taking care of the health. You know, this is seriously like, we need it. You know, we got these 2 cards here. So this is urgent, like a heart attack. This is like, hurry up. Death is on the way. We really need to change something. Something really, really has got to go here. We've got to do something about it. So it's just like the year of the snake. You know, you got to shed that snake skin. You know, it's just got to move on. So, and the next card, that which we need to focus on, this is our 5 of Pentacles. So the 5 of Pentacles, this has a lot to do with material needs, also even emotional needs. But yeah, the Pentacles are normally quite financially oriented, but this really is like also the energy of being disenfranchised from things, being cut off from resources, not being able to get enough to get by. And this is us feeling the pinch, in my opinion, feeling the pinch from all of the hoarding energy that has been going on, all of the greed and all of the denial of our being able to actually get what we need to have a good life. And this need has created, obviously, quite a bit of tension in the world. It's creating a lot of problems. A lot of us have been compromising ourselves for money for way too long. And now it's to the point where we are really debasing ourselves so that we can actually get what we want in our lives, to get that car, get that house, get out of that relationship. And many of us for a very long time have had a lot of toxic relationships. We've had a lot of problems with our partners. We haven't been able to have really meaningful and lasting relationships. And yeah, I'm kind of reading for myself as well. I have had a lot of problems. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna pretend that my relationships have been awesome and perfect. Obviously, if I've had multiple relationships and I haven't been able to stick with one person for a long time, it's, you know, we're all in this together, as they say. So, you know, this has a lot to do, though, with being disenfranchised from anything that you feel like you should maybe be entitled to, including even your pleasure, your peace, your well-being. Most of our mental and emotional wellness issues come from a lack of having our basic needs fulfilled: safety, food, shelter, love, belonging, esteem. We have such esteem issues in this world, and we need to move out of that, right? And then so now the next one. Oh, excuse me. Does every card reader have to have their throat chakra attacked? I swear. Anyway, so I obviously had to put some bindies on this because it's a little bit too lovely, so a little too artistic. Anyway, this card is representing a finish of cycles. This is the end of a lot of things that have been going on for a long time, actually. This is the world. So we have had a lot of really painful and suffering times in this world. Obviously, we've had a lot of strife, we've had a lot of wars, we've had a lot of good people thrown under the bus because they were speaking out about things that they were obviously not privileged to speak out about, people exposing things that are classified, a lot of things like that. A lot of people have been, and not only that, but the way things have been ruled, the way that we have been governing over this planet has, and the way that we've been running industries has caused a lot of problems. And this is saying the cycle is complete, it is whole, it is total, that is it is finished. That's our past. That is what lays behind us. So, all right. And then the next one is our strengths. What do we have here? Hi, hello. But the Wheel of Fortune. So this, hello, come on. This is actually where we are going, which is so lovely. I mean, it even has like two, I love that it's got like, look, we may actually be able to have a loving and prosperous, constructive, practical relationship, something that actually sustains what we would like to do with our life, something that actually is in alignment with our core values. You know, the things that we would actually really like to achieve in this life may actually be coming into fruition. So that is really, really cool. Yeah, cycles of change, luck, the inevitability of fate. So, you know, that constant turning wheel that goes from bad times to good times to maybe even some more bad times, because that's just how life is. It's cyclical. So I just love all of the little runes on this, like all the little like I wish I could get it a little bit better in focus. I can't get it. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, you can see it's got the Aquarius, it's got Scorpio, it's got Leo, it's got Taurus. Oh, there's so much going on with it. Oh my gosh. But yeah, you see. And yeah, that's that. Oh, I should see if I could shed a little more light on this topic here. My lights are all very colorful. I like my violet light. Let's see. We got a little bit more going on there. Anyway, so there's that. Oh, put that back where it belongs, the Wheel of Fortune. So, then the next one that we've got going on here is the Hierophant card. So, this is in the position of the near future. So, hello, hello, hello. Focus on the Hierophant. So, Hierophant is very much the authorities in this world. It doesn't only represent clergy and religious leadership, but also government leadership. Anybody who is ruling and authoritative, and this I am seeing signifies a coming confrontation. So this is something that in order to move through the things that we've noticed here, because this is everything before this has set the tone. We have a big problem, obviously. It is an urgent problem. We need to change some things, and we've finished a cycle. It is time for the Wheel of Fortune to turn in the direction of addressing what is going on, what the bloody F is happening with who has been lording over us for so long, with all of this fear of God, all of this punishment in hell, all of this, you better worship this way, you better believe that way, or else types of just strong arming and leverage and control and subjugation and betrayal. Just, we've had centuries of this. And I wonder why we're having a global mental health crisis, guys. Is it sounding a little bit like, how could that be, you know, right? Hello? Yeah, so clearly we got some heavy hitters that have been standing on top of us and threatening us and scaring the crap out of us and shaming us out of our pleasure, out of our union, out of our ability to actually even have a secular ministry with each other, to be comfortable in our erotic bodies. You know, need I say more? I don't know. I could go on and just keep painting pictures for you, but I think that you've got it, you know? Pleasure is our birthright, guys, and I believe it is time for us to confront some people who have been trying to just shame and scare us out of it. And what have we been doing? Well, obviously, we have been, like I said, in order to achieve what we want, we have been debasing ourselves because we have been fighting back against everything that has been holding us down and keeping us from feeling like really good in our bodies and having the money we want. We've been snapping back and fighting back from the hoarders of wealth, and we have been using our sexuality to do that. But it's come at a price, hasn't it? So what are we needing to do now? So this is card 7. So this is our advice position here. So we've got the King of Wands. And King of Wands is like really, I mean, these cards, this is just like no joke, okay? This is a, you need to get more confidence to begin to, take some risks, take some risks, get out there, try something innovative, start a new business, start something that's actually not going to debase you, start doing something that is actually something that brings you joy. Don't just work for money, work for God. And there is no separation between God and you. And so this is your rulership. This is you being the leader and the ruler of your destiny, your life, how you're going to get yourself out of that funk, out of those poor relationships, out of these ugly dynamics that have been causing you and us, all of us, so much suffering, so much hardship, so much trouble, so much pain. We really need to kind of just stand on our own 2 feet. So yeah, there's that. And the next thing that we've got going on here is in our environment. So this is an interesting one. So we've got the Hermit card. So we have the Hermit. So this is really, a lot of this is just to go inward. You got a lot of bear energy going on, bears and lions. So the Hierophant had a bear on it as well. And here we are with the Hermit, another bear. So, it's interesting, the lineup of the animals with this. So the bear stays in its cave, hibernates, waits until the spring, and that's really kind of what we're doing. We are coming into spring now, and we have really been needing to go inward. We must go inward. We must practice self-inquiry. We must check into our motivations and our feelings, what drives us, what repulses us, what we are attracted to, and ask ourselves, why? Why am I attracted to that? Why does that repulse me? Is it controlling me? Is it controlling my pleasure? Is it controlling my drives? And learn how to just get free of that by breaking away from the ways that society has been pushing us. Stop following the herd. Stop going with what everyone else is doing. If everybody else is turning themselves into a porn star, should you really do it too? Because is that really actually making everybody happy? Or are we all just going to be in a fake happiness and disappoint the people that would love to be in a devoted, loving, and beautiful, committed relationship with you? Maybe we should get to a few more kind of traditional values, maybe just a little bit, but we may also have to stay open-minded and understanding and forgiving. Also, just saying that, that's not necessarily in the Hermit qualities, but it's just what's coming to me from that. And so the next one is coming up. This is in our hopes and our fears. So I'm actually going over this all again just because it's not something I normally do. I'm not often doing tarot card readings. So yeah. So this is the Three of Wands. So the Three of Wands, we've got a couple deer here, and they are going on a journey. And this is the beginning of a journey, a project. This is requiring us some foresight, you know, so this is really like what we kind of gotta really consider as, you know, it's gonna be kind of scary maybe to like go to uncharted territories, but it looks like we really might want to do that. We might really want to check out some new endeavors, start to survey the other possibilities that you could have in your future, open your horizons. So checking out new horizons, looking around, this signifies coming out of depression. Depression has a lot of like constrictive views. It's like not being able to see the entire horizon, like being covered, the horizon's covered up by skyscrapers or some kind of obstruction. I'm just visualizing like something that's industrial and ugly, and it just covers up the beautiful natural landscape. It's kind of like me being here in Manhattan in New York City. And I do personally feel like I do need to get out more of the city and experience maybe some more nature. It's always a good idea to take a little, even just take a little vacation. That's what this could also represent. It may not be like as broad stroking as like moving out into the woods or something like that to get out of the city, but just taking some time to reflect on the great expanse of this world and all of the great possibilities that there could be. That's the Three of Wands. Oh, maybe this light is not so great for this, is it? Oh no, it's flashing. Playing with my lights. So I also have lights that just like kind of change colors. And we have just like the classic bright ass whitish light, which is probably the best for you so you can visualize it. Anyway, so the next is the Two of Wands, and this is our potential outcome. So the Two of Wands signifies an opportunity, planning, making choices about your future path. Weren't we just kind of talking about that with the last card though? I mean, everything is very lined up on this, you know, so we've got to, once again, take calculated risks. A lot of this is talking about how we have got to get out of our comfort zone, really. You know, we've got to really just strike while the iron is hot now, too, because it's springtime. And not to mention, the rabbit does also have the globe with it, so it's got a little earth with it. This is like our earth bunny. And it's asking the world to come into a bunny dance. I mean, abundance, my bad. So, yeah, really just getting into what it is that is a fertile idea, something that will actually really jumpstart your fortune in your future, and taking those calculated risks. And don't forget, you want to carefully plan and prepare. So that is a really big part of this aspect. And, you know, it's obviously no small thing. This is, it's the end of the world and the beginning of the new world. That's really what's going on with this. Our global mental health crisis is really just some serious growing pains that we've all got going on. It does look like we should be pulling through eventually. I don't know what exactly it's going to take. A lot of people are very much afraid that we're going to have some war. And I did have to pull more signifiers for this reading just because I felt like I had such a repetitive kind of energy. The theme, it seems very focused actually though on you got to do something new. You've got to inquire into yourself. You got to just check out the potential of what else we can actually do. So this one that came up we've got is the Chariot. So the Chariot came up as one of the signifiers. I did 2 signifiers. So victory through willpower, control, overcoming obstacles, encouraging focusing action and persistence. So, to just like really take the reins, take control, maybe even getting a little bit more stoic about things. Stop allowing yourself to be just triggered all the time by this or that, and just work on focusing on diligently moving forward, upward and onward. And this does have a lot also to do with how we approach the philosophies of yoga. Look at Patanjali's sutras and check out the first 2 parts. We've got civic observations and moral duties, or civic duties and moral observations, however you want to look at it, the yamas and the niyamas. And that's, causing no harm to others and yourself, being honest, being truthful, not stealing, not cheating on other people, just keeping it real. Because the more in alignment with reality we are, the easier it will be for us to heal and find that actual salvation, emotional and psychological salvation, right? So the last of the signifiers that I drew is the Ace of Wands, which is also just very much another confirmation for all of the things that we're talking about, how we had a cycle ending. We're desperately needing mental health reevaluation for all of us. We all need to reevaluate what we are doing, how we are products of our environment, how our environment has made us toxic, how we keep accusing each other of being toxic and blaming each other, and how the blame and the accusations of narcissism, everything like this, toxicity, has reached such a crescendo, such a, a peak. It's gotten to its apex, where it should become apparent that we are all the problem. We all are participants in a big problem. We've all been part of a dynamic, and we've all been co-creators of this circumstance. So this is talking about how we can move through all of this with rekindling our passions and really finding that creativity, reaching down, and once again, a bold action and adventure. Embrace your inner fire. I actually just came across some work and actually it wasn't just some work, it was actually the Emerald Tablet of Thoth, Hermes Trismegistus. So Thoth and Hermes are said to be really the same being. So the Emerald Tablet of Hermes Trismegistus does talk about the alchemical fire, and the fact that it's just Ace of Wands, and even that the fox is kind of coiled around the wand, kind of like the Kundalini. It's a Kundalini fox, you guys. And this single wand, it almost looks like a white, purifying, eternal alchemical flame. And that's what the Emerald Tablets talk about. It talks about this flame of complete destruction that is, it is an unending flame. It is in all of us. And when we don't cultivate that flame before we discover its innate alchemical power to transmute the things that we come in contact with that are toxic to us, that are heavy to us like lead, we need to transmute it into reality and truth realization, wisdom, basically, that abundance and healing and everything like that, the gold. So the alchemical fire is in this, and this is what we are encouraged, all of us, not just people who are into the occult arts or who are advanced mages or any of this. We all should work that magic. We are magical beings, and we must awaken to that. So this is how we come through all of this global mental health crisis. We have a whole realization, a revelation, a renaissance of the healing powers, the secrets that have been hidden from us and kept from us for so long. The secret teachings must be realized for all. They were secret for only a very specific reason. And now I'm going to give you a little diagram that I drew that talks about, this kind of like goes back over what I have been dealing with in regard to what I've been reading, what I've been channeling. So it's a little bit weird. It looks a little messy, but we'll work on it. See if I can help you with this. So these little circles with the hearts in them, they are representing people in different types of roles and different dynamics. So here we have what I am considering enlightened people, people who are prophets and saints, and they are people who achieved levels of true power. This is like the divine energy coming down. I'm representing it by the Sushumna and the Ida and the Pingala nadis, but it's swirling back and forth. This is the awakened Kundalini energy, and it is just also light that is streaming in from the universe. And this is a saint or sage or rishi, whatever you want to call it, a person who has achieved the peak human state. They achieved true power. And so these are the attributes of a person who has achieved true power. They are in ecstasy, divine wisdom. They can practice prophecy, or it just comes to them through the channeling of that divine energy. They experience joy and clarity, peace. Healing occurs with them in their presence, which we call miracles. And what has happened with this is what the Catholics turned into the saints, who they actually had killed. It's really not like we in the Western religious world recognize living saints like they do in India. So what has happened with the natural order of mind? Well, this is a shifting of power that has had to happen. This is true power. And I forgot to write it here, but this is, I'll just write it down here for you. This is force as power. My writing's really not that great right now. So, force as power. So in order to depict the force as power, the leadership needs to murder these people in order to demonstrate that they are in power. And these are the subjects who are witnessing this. Obviously, they go into fear. They are obviously frightened of this person who is holding this force as power. And it's the people get exposed to it. We've been exposed to it for thousands and thousands of years. We begin to believe this is power. Hoarding resources, food and currency, and intelligence. This becomes what we see as power. So this is how the world has been ruled for a very, very long time. And this is obviously a family. This is a mother and a father and a child, and their energy is connected. They are in a union. They are an united family. But the thing is I didn't put this in here, but I'll bring it up in a bit. So just keep that in mind. Also, now in order to keep power over these people, they are depending not only on killing saints to demonstrate their power, hoarding their resources into currency and intelligence to emphasize their power, and scaring the crap out of these people to emphasize their power and just, keep them in their place. They also get the clergy involved. Separation of church and state is not true. It has never been true. That is a big fat lie. So we have what the clergy does, the Hierophant, as we were talking about earlier, what they're doing. They use ideas, concepts, belief systems to hold people in a disempowered place. People need to be held in a disempowered place so they don't end up like that. We must prevent this from happening. So what do? We have the clergy help these people be freaked out and scared for their lives. We fear God's punishment. We are in shame, especially about anything that may bring us pleasure, ecstasy, this union stuff. We gotta be really careful about that. It says in the Bible that you get punished by, doing the thing, and then you end up with this painful childbirth and this painful child. And, oh, how horrible! Look at this awful child. What? Right? So, and then of course, we've got hell's punishments. God's punishment. You could go to hell, and then orders from God that you must follow. And of course, there's that heaven's promise, which is almost impossible to get in your life. You have to really, really behave and stay in fear, basically, that you've messed up. And so there's that. So I'm showing you here, we've got this shifting of dynamics to demonstrate what power is. And so as a result of this, I want you to understand when force masquerades as power, it has to form a codependent relationship with these people to help them to carry out all of this fear business, all of this really low vibration posing as divine stuff. We have to cut off any divine actually realized people, call them crazy, kill them, do whatever it is you can, lock them in a box, inject them with poison, whatever it takes. And then in regard to this, now we've had so much of this codependence happening, and we have been coming to the point of realizing there is something wrong going on with these authorities. What do? They turn all of this codependent energy, they shift that, they transfer it to us and say, well, look at you. You think that you should be connected like that? No, you shouldn't. No, you shouldn't. You guys shouldn't be like that at all. No, we should have, mommy, go, take baby. Mommy, take baby. Daddy, go find, go do something else. Find some other person, and there might be someone who's not really all that pure to begin with. Maybe they're just selling sexy stuff. They're selling a good time, and it doesn't matter. The mommy and kid, they can be in some kind of codependent relationship, and it's not often shamed. It is kind of getting shamed a bit now and then here though, in these days. But we want to break people up. We don't want that. We don't want that connection stuff going on. No, we're just gonna kind of break everybody apart. Divide and conquer. You gotta keep them divided. You've got to keep all of these beings separated. And so the joke on us though is that we're all connected. We are all connected. This is trying to get to all of us. That is the actual spirit of the divinity that needs to get to us so we can get into our peak human state. But how are we going to get into that peak human state as long as we are believing this stuff and we're allowing this to continue? Yeah? I don't know. I just don't know. There you go. That was the reading. Thank you for watching.